All signs point to this as we have a new update reporting what we might be seeing from Lonzo Ball this season and how the Cavaliers coaching staff might be approaching Lonzo Ball's previous injury history and how we might have to adjust the lineup according to Lonzo Ball's injury history and what might be happening with Lonzo Ball and his true availability to the Cavaliers as they replaced Ty Jerome at the backup point guard position with Lonzo Ball in a trade via the Bulls where the Cavaliers sent off Isaac Okoro just a couple months ago. Now we are here in a new era where we have Lonzo Ball at the backup point guard position. Yes, he's fought so many injuries in his career, including surgeries where he had to miss so much time, including multiple years in a row. And now we are receiving a report that the coaching staff is probably intrigued by these injuries and are going to have to adjust to it and how they might be, managing Lonzo Ball. Hey guys, Matt Belangi here at Cavs Digest. Sorry for all that talking, but thank you guys so much for joining me back-to-back days with a video. That's what the goal is, try to post as every day. Me and Darius are trying to push out videos, and we're going to get another video based on someone's injury and status like this with not load management, but just managing injuries, as Darius is going to push one out here soon. But thank you guys so much for joining me. I'm Matt Belangi. Before we get started, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It's just under 68% of you are not subscribed. It might be different now. This one's a little old, but go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you can hear about everything, all things Cavaliers. So let's get into this Lonzo Ball status and what is happening with him. So obviously, the Cavs acquired Lonzo Ball via trade in late June or mid to late June for Isaac Okoro, clearing up cap space, but also getting a position that seemed like they needed due to the fact that they were in contention for losing Ty Jerome, in which, of course, they could have re-signed Ty Jerome. They just didn't want to, which is so crazy to me. They didn't want to pay Ty Jerome. Sam Merrill over me is what they decided to do. So the Cavs went out and traded for Lonzo Ball, who has a good history of being a superstar player. Or not superstar, an all-star level player, or at least with all the all-star level traits that you need at the point guard position, including elite playmaking, consistent shooting, and elite defense, which is a perfect need for the Cavaliers. But Lonzo Ball has a big history of being injured. But as I said, this guy can definitely play basketball. This is a guy with a great history of being a perfect hooper at the point guard position for so many different teams, whether it was being a starter on the Pelicans, whether it was being a backup for the Lakers, but he was better when he left the Lakers. But when he was on the Pelicans, it seemed as if he was developing into an all-star level point guard, a guy that can do basically everything on the court. He's tall, he's strong, he's super athletic, he's a phenomenal defender, and he's a phenomenal passer, which is what the Cavs need and what a lot of teams are looking for at the point guard position. So Lonzo Ball is a great fit for them. It just comes down to, can he stay healthy? So the report that we have is that the Cavaliers reportedly considering intriguing decision with Lonzo Ball. This was on SportsIllustrated.com, Cavaliers, and it's time to dive into what was said in this article. Starting off with Chris Fedor, I know that the Cavs are having conversations as an organization about no back-to-backs for Lonzo Ball, Fedor said. If it's 3 games in 4 nights of that when it comes to Lonzo, if it's 5 and 7 of that when it comes to Lonzo. Be cognizant. I do know the word, but I was struggling to read it. But cognizant, of course. Be cognizant of that when it comes to Lonzo. So it seems like that they are going to be very, very careful with playing Lonzo, specifically back-to-back games or playing 3 of 4 or 5 of 7, all that stuff, maybe benching him. Now, this opens up a new, kind of approach for the Cavaliers because the point guard position isn't as heavy as we think it is with just Lonzo and DG. What could happen is you move Strus to the 2. You have Merrill and Mitchell in the lineup. You have to play Merrill more at the point guard position, which you saw them do at the end of the Miami Heat playoff series in the first round in the last 2 games and game 1 against the Indiana Pacers. So that is the full report. That is for the most part of the report, but we're going to dive into some more facts about Lonzo Ball and the Cavs' potential lineup because there's a reason that they're doing this, and it's definitely because of obvious injury history. But when you look at Lonzo Ball's injury history, yes, you look at his statistics, you're like, when you look at that stretch with the Pelicans and the Bulls of 3 straight years where he was putting up good point numbers, putting up good field goal and 3-point numbers, and putting up good rebounds and assists, and even averaging almost 2 steals a game. Has the perfect tools to be the best backup point guard in the league. And then you look and you're like, 24, 25, 35 games played. But then you look again and you see that he took a 3-year break of basketball, basically 2 years, 2.5 years, where he didn't play due to getting surgery on his legs. And it just all led to surgery after surgery after surgery on bad injuries, that he re-injuring himself And then if you look at the games played in some of these years, this guy hasn't played 60 games since, we'll round up a little bit, since 2020, 2021. So Lonzo Ball has a big injury history. It just comes down to, can he stay healthy, obviously, and it seems like that's what the Cavs are doing because of the fact that they've had to struggle with injuries in the playoffs specifically. And I think Kenny Atkinson, Koby Altman, Mike Gansey, and Dan Gilbert are realizing that the best ability is availability, especially when it comes to the playoffs. In Game 2 against the Indiana Pacers, yes, the Cavs blew a 20-point lead, and they should have never lost that game. And that game haunts me every minute of my life at this point. But Darius Garland couldn't play, DeAndre Hunter couldn't play, and Evan Mobley all were out of that game. So it seems as if that the Cavs are just trying to be more careful with injuries, specifically in the playoffs, so you can have a healthy lineup for every single game, because availability is so important when it comes down to the biggest series of your career, of your team, of your season, whatever. So that is what it seems like they're doing, just trying to protect guys like Lonzo Ball, because Lonzo's importance to the Cavaliers as of right now is actually really high with the loss of Ty Jerome. When you look at the point guard position, of course you have some shooting guards such as Sam Merrill. Tyrese Proctor might have to get some playing time if Lonzo sits at all. That's going to open up something for him, I guess. And then Strus, who's a shooting guard, small forward, you might have to see him play shooting guard if Lonzo doesn't play. Craig Porter Jr. is a guy that we've talked about on this channel, a guy that I've mentioned could be a secret weapon for the Cavaliers if he can play up to the level that they expect him to, get stronger, get more athletic. And he's still a good shot creator and three-point shooter. It just comes down to, can Craig Porter even play at this point, because he got injured in the first game of the Summer League, and if that injury is serious, then he's just not going to be able. He might not even be on the roster. They tried him out in the G League, he gets hurt, so there's a chance that Craig Porter Jr., maybe the Cavs give up on him, maybe his injury is just super serious, and they can't even play him if they wanted to, and so it opens up a lot. It opens up a whole new avenue of the point guard position, because right now it's just Lonzo and Darius Garland, who you saw in the last picture. And that's not very good. Of course, Lonzo in his last season was not even, he was coming off of 2.5 years. He played 20 minutes a game, putting up 7, 3, 3. But the biggest thing is that his three-point shooting was definitely downgraded. But he was also not playing in 2.5 years. He can develop into something big just based on the tools that he has alone. If this guy stays healthy, he's the perfect backup point guard for the Cavs, because he's physical, athletic, and a good defender, which Darius Garland is just not. Darius Garland is a three-point shooter, a playmaker, a crafty guard. Lonzo Ball is more of the built guy, the guy that's bigger, the guy that's going to get you stops and then dunk on somebody at the other end, or the guy that's going to get you stops and then get an assist on the other end. These are two players that complement each other very, very well when you just look at the statistics alone, but it could lean to the fact that if both of these guys are going to be managed at all, because, a sneak peek to Darius' next video, or not maybe that's the next video, but a video that he's going to make about Darius Garland's potential injury update, there is a lack of need at the point guard position now, which is so weird because we were coming in as a guard-heavy team. So what's going to happen? Are we going to see Tyrese Proctor play minutes? Are we going to see Sam Merrill and Donovan Mitchell be the starters at the guard position? As I said, Tyrese Proctor might have to get some playing time. Craig Porter Jr. if he's healthy. And I would love to see what the Cavs can do with these guards if Garland misses time early in the season and Lonzo Ball is being managed on games. So this opens up maybe one of the guys that he's trying for a vet minimum shouldn't be a backup center, and it should be a backup point guard to play temporarily. Who knows? This changes a lot, but based on what we knew about Lonzo Ball, all the signs pointed to this, that the Cavaliers would manage Lonzo Ball. So thank you guys for joining me here on Cavs Digest. I know that was kind of not a lot of information, but I tried making it as much information as possible, kind of give my opinion a little bit. I always want to hear your guys' opinion, so comment below your thoughts. Like this video, share this video with your friends, and thank you guys for joining Matt Palangi here on Cavs Digest.